Okay, so here we are with week 5 of the Not So Casual Pokemon League. As always, I am Dialza. The major change you might notice to my team is that I no longer have a King Gambit and instead have a Goldango. I was really feeling that fighting type Pokemon were a big issue for my team. As you can see, there's a lot of dark type here. And I figured that by adding Goldango, I would add in a fighting type immunity instead. Its defensive typing works fairly well with Toxapex and Tinglu. Little bit ground weak, but I was before anyway with King Gambit, and with Zarude, Weezingale, and Gorgeist, I can alleviate that a little bit. So this week we have a very exciting match as I'm up against Pyro, the Chicago Beartics. Pyro is currently sitting at a 3-1 record this season, as am I, and whichever one of us wins will make it onto the mid-season report. It's something we put out every season that just showcases all the teams that are 5-0 or 4-1, and dives in a little bit to what makes them tick and what makes them perform so well. So we're fighting for a spot in that report, and it should be a very exciting match. So looking at Pyro's team, we have Coco Iron Moth. That's a very potent offensive core. You've got some really nice speed on both of them. The electric terrain buffs up Moth's either damage or speed, which that's going to be very important. If it's speed boosting Iron Moth, that means its offense is a little lower. Great Tusk is sort of your hazard clearing attacker, defender, got a bajillion stats in all the important areas. There's a reason it's 20 points. And these three I'm almost certain are coming. They have 100% usage. They're all pretty good against my team. Big threats. Caesar is an interesting one. It can defog. It can do all the things it's done since Gen 4. But I do have Mega Houndoom. I do have, some Rocky Helm potential. I do have a lot of faster Pokemon. It's not great into Goldango, so I wouldn't be shocked if it doesn't come. Celebi is a pretty good Terra Captain, especially Fairy and Water. Those are great types to slap on that really solid overall stat line. My team is very specially offensive, so I could see Mantine coming just to tank a lot of that. Mega Absol is just really good speed tear into my team, outspeeds pretty much everything. Ties Mega Houndoom and Sneasel, but outspeeds everything else. And Dark is also, could pursue Trap, Goldango, or Zoroark, which is a bit scary. I'd be kind of surprised to see Doublade. It doesn't really do well into all my Dark and Ghost types. Geary is not that great of a Pokemon, but maybe it shows up to try to spin a bit. And Bombardier is another one I can actually see coming. It could like a choice banded U-turn, choice banded knockoff Stone Edge. That can be pretty scary. And especially with that Terra Rock or Terra Ground, my team is a little ground weak. And then Centiskorch is the last Pokemon. I'd be kind of surprised. Doesn't look great into me, but I do have a lot of dark types. Maybe that bug type could be a little scary. So that's Pyro's team. My team is, as you've seen it before, it's just this Poison Dark Ghost kind of for fun team that I'm trying to make work to the best of my ability. And now we're going to get into what I actually brought for the match. So, Tinglu, as usual, I just have a kind of defensive support, set up rocks, whirlwind things around, protect for some leftovers healing, and it's especially defensive because Coco and Moth are sort of the biggest threats here. It's never beating Great Tusk, so I'm not even bothering with that. And then, maybe you could take a hit from Mantine to set up rocks or something like that. Goldango, newest addition to the team. I'm just going for a simple recover attacker set with Air Balloon to beat Great Tusk. It can and probably will carry knockoff, but Goldango can live one knockoff and hit back pretty damn hard. Thunderbolt is just so I don't get stonewalled by Mantine, who I think is likely to come given my loadout. Toxapex has an Assault Vest because I'm very scared of Iron Moth otherwise. And honestly, besides Great Tusk, this team really leans on its special offense. Caesar is physical, but I resist both Bug and Steel, so I think Toxapex is pretty well equipped for it, even without investment. So the Assault Vest is really to make sure we can hold out against Iron Moth and maybe even take a Coco Thunderbolt in a pinch. And then I leaned a little bit more on physical attacks just because Iron Moth has a very low physical defense but very high special defense. Zarude is the classic Terra Electric set where his only way to hit Electric super effectively is Great Tusk, who's slower than Zarude and kind of gets pounded by Power Whip and outsped. And I would be very surprised if it's Choice Scarf, and even if it is, it has to lock into moves that I have immunities to. So I think this Zarude's going to do pretty well. As usual, it's a very, very strong Terra Captain. And as for Mega Houndoom here, it does have a killer speed tier, although let me actually fix these EVs really quick. These did not update when I made the save. I need to make sure it ties Mega Absol. Thunderfang, with especially in electric terrain, does quite a lot of damage to Mantine. He might not see it coming. Even without it, should do about half, depending on the set. And that can help me power through the only real wall to this thing he has. Otherwise, Flamethrower, Mudshot busts open Iron Moth, and then Flamethrower just hits most of this team very effectively. And last is Wheezing Galar with Levitate, and that quad fighting resistance. It is really good versus Great Tusk. It could have Heavy Slam, but that means giving up Knockoff, which is very bad when you're facing a potential Balloon Goldango. So I expect it not to have Heavy Slam, in which case this Wheezing will do very well versus it and punish it every time it goes for a Rapid Spin with that Rocky Helmet damage. So yeah, that's my team. It's a little straightforward. No crazy sets this time. Assault Vest Toxapex is maybe the weirdest, but I'm just really scared of Iron Moth, so I want to make sure I don't outright lose to it. And other than that, I'm really hoping for a pretty straightforward game plan where I just use my defensive pieces to survive and use my offensive pieces to do damage. Nothing that fancy about it. We'll see you when the game starts.